Hi everyone, welcome back to my craft room. If you're new to my craft room, then welcome. Today I am working on some of these Dollar Tree ceramic pieces that I found in the Crafter Square section. This one was actually sent to me by a lovely friend, Tina. So I'm going to use this one also, but these two I found at my local Dollar Tree. These really nice vases. They're just raw ceramic pieces. There's no finish on these whatsoever. So I thought these would be great to paint up, do some decoupage on, and make some really pretty decor pieces. I also found this little Trinket tray, little heart shaped. I thought that was real cute. So I kind of want to make a set out of these two. Now I'm going to paint these. These are already painted. I use my favorite color, you guys know, of my sheepskin. I love to decoupage on top of this because it really brings out the colors of the napkins. You could do white too, depending on your napkin. I'm going to use this napkin here. This one I got, I believe this one came from Temu, I want to say. I get napkins everywhere, so I have a hard time remembering. I've been collecting them for years and years and years. I get them at grocery stores. I've ordered some from decoupagenapkin.com, which is a great place if you're looking for napkins. You can buy like as many as you want. You can buy 1, 2, whatever. So you don't have to buy a whole pack of napkins if you don't want them. And they have thousands of beautiful napkins. This one here, I don't remember where this one came from. It may have came from Temu also. I don't know. Like I said, I grab them when I see them in any store, grocery stores, whatever. I used to get a lot at Tuesday morning, but then they all closed in our area. I don't know if there's any of those around anymore, but you still have to get them there. But you can get them anywhere. You can get them on eBay. You can get them on Amazon. You can find napkins on Etsy. There's another place on there. A lot of places, you know, on Etsy that sellers sell like just like 1, 2, or 3 napkins or whatever. So if you don't want to buy a whole thing. But anyway, those are the 2 napkins I'm going to be using for this. I want to do the roses on the little heart and on this one, but first I have to get this painted up here with my sheepskin chalk paint. This is just like a really creamy white color, and it works great on these things. And I'm just giving it 1 coat. That's it, 1 quick coat on here, and that's got a little clump of something in it. My paints are a disaster anymore. I really need some new paints. But yeah, so that's all I'm going to do. Just go over this 1 coat of this chalk paint. I don't think I'm not even going to worry about the rim of it, because I'm going to paint that in a pretty pink color. Go around the rim of it when I'm all said and done here. So I'm not even going to worry about that. So let me get this painted up here really quickly so this can sit and dry while we work on the other ones. And then after this is all said and done, I'm going to use a clear coat. I'll show you that. That's on my shelf back there. When I'm all done, I'll get that out. Of just like a spray paint, just to seal all this in here. Now, I don't think you could put real flowers or anything in these unless you wanted to completely coat the inside with something, because like I said, it's just like this raw ceramic and it would just kind of, I think, soak into it or whatever. So you would definitely have to seal the inside if you wanted to use, you know, real flowers in there. You might even be able to use, I don't know, I was going to say the dishwasher safe Mod Podge, but I'm not sure. I can't even say that would work perfectly either, because I've never tried it and I don't want to give you the wrong ideas. But that's it. It's just that simple. It's already done. We got our 1 coat on here. I think I got it pretty good. Right here I see a spot. Yep, that looks good. Alright, so we're going to set this one back here to dry. And hopefully, I just scraped it. You know, there we go, all better. But that looks good. So now they're all the same color. I need to get out some Mod Podge. You could use the matte, you could use whichever one you want. If you're going to spray these, it's not going to make any difference, because in the end it's going to have like a little bit of a glossy shine to it. I'm trying to reach one of my little trays here. Alright, so I'm going to use some of the gloss Mod Podge. Now usually you guys have seen me cut out most of my napkins. If you've watched my channel for a while, I usually use like these water pens and things and go around and kind of peel them off, but my hands did not want to cooperate today, so we just went with cutting them out with a pair of scissors. So I cut a whole bunch of these little things out of here. I'm going to be using these little flowers, some of these little leaves on this spiral looking one. I just want this one to be a real simple, cute thing. And I thought this lavender stuff was really pretty. I wish it were a little wider. I'd put some of those pots on there, but they're not. So I cut out a bunch, and then I started this one just to get a head start. Started putting some of the leaves and some of the little flowers on here. I think that's going to be real pretty. So I'm just going to do a little bit of this one, then we'll move on here because this is just going to be the same thing, you know, over and over and over again. Now, if I could find a brush like I was using, I don't want a real big brush. Let's see, maybe this one right here. That one looks good. Whatever size brush you want. I'm going to use a bigger brush on the other one, but this is just real tiny stuff here. So I got everything cut out. I just cut all these little pieces out with my scissors. Do it however you want. Some people rip them out. I don't have any luck ripping them out because I end up ripping my images. So this time we just cut them out with scissors. So I'm kind of alternating with, you know, like 2 flowers and a leaf here, and then 2 leaves and a flower here, and so on and so forth. So now we need the 2 leaves and the flowers on the next one. I don't put any Mod Podge down first on these. You can if you want to. But I just kind of lay these out. And you want to peel the backing off. Make sure if it's a 2-ply napkin, you want to get it down to just the 1 ply. So you need to peel that off. So I already did that. And then this stuff will go right through the napkin. So you really don't need to put any Mod Podge on first. And these small pieces are so much fun to work with because they're just so easy. I mean, there you go. That's it. It's on. We're done. See how easy that is? And then let's see. And this one's going to have one of these flowers in the center here. Like so. Just want to get it where you want it and then just put on your Mod Podge. It's just that easy. All right. You don't want to leave any big globs of Mod Podge on there, so you kind of want to smooth that out. And then we're going to do the leaves down here. There we go. You see how easy that is? And then we have that one done. I think this is going to look pretty, just this simple design on here. I was going to do something a little more elaborate, but then, you know, I kind of changed my mind because it's just a really pretty little vase. So then on this side, we're going to start here with, come on, one of these pretty flower branches here of the lavender. We'll start there with that one, and I'm just going to go down. I'll finish this one, and then we're going to move on to the next one here. I'll finish the rest of this off camera because it's just going to be same thing over and over and over again. And what did I get in there that was red? I have no idea. Something. I think I got most of it. There we go. I don't know what that was. Huh. Whatever, it's gone. Alright, so smooth that out nice. And then the next one on this one's going to be the leaf. Easy peasy. We love easy peasy DIYs. They're my favorites. And you can make some really pretty stuff. I mean, you can find pretty napkins anywhere, like I said. Really can't tell you exactly where these came from because I don't remember. I have so many napkins. I've had napkins that people have sent me over the years, and I just don't know where they all came from anymore because they're all in bags together and whatever. But I still look no matter where I go. I am still looking at the napkins in case there's any new pretty prints that I want. And then this piece, just going to wrap that right underneath there. Smooth out that Mod Podge. And that's that. See, we just did 2 nice little rows of that. That's going to be really pretty. I like that. So I'm going to turn this upside down because I got some little Mod Podge underneath. Now, for this one here, I'm going to try to keep this wet because I'm going to finish up that off camera. All right, let me set that over there. Now for this one here, I cut out a bunch of these roses out of that napkin. There was this smaller print. Where's another piece? Here it is. I cut out 2 little pieces. I cut this piece out here that I want to put kind of like right here, I believe. Let me make sure. And then I cut out this other little piece that I kind of wanted to continue down a little bit lower. And I think that's going to work out just fine, just like that. It'll pretty much match up. But it looked funny with just a bare spot down there when I cut out these flowers. So that's what I'm going to do. So let me straighten this out a little bit more. I think that's good. Is that bent over? No, that's just the way it's cut. Okay. All right, so I'm going to start with the big flower. I think that'll be the best idea here. I'm going to get one of my bigger brushes. These are my Dollar Tree brushes. I love these brushes. They have these most of the time at Dollar Tree. There was a while there I couldn't find them, but they seem to have them all the time anymore, and I hope they keep having them. Now this napkin's a little bit thicker, so I'm kind of really laying on this Mod Podge to start here because it'll take a little bit more to go through. But like I said, you want to put Mod Podge on first, and by all means, go ahead. I just don't have any luck doing that. I end up sticking it places and I don't want it, and then, you know, they're very delicate once they get wet, and you really can't move them once you get them on here. So that's why I usually don't. But I know a lot of people do have good luck with it. Like I said, everybody has their own way of doing things. So, all right, so that was pretty simple. That went in there a lot nicer than I thought it was going to. I was hoping it was going to, but you never know. Just making sure I don't have any bubbles left in here. All right. Now we got to try to figure out how I want this little piece, because there's some Mod Podge down here and I'm going to end up getting it stuck, so we got to be careful here. Alright, so I'm thinking it kind of wants to go like so. No, I hope I didn't mess up. Alright, let's see. I want it to kind of match pretty good so you really don't notice it. All right, there we go. All right, let's get that glued down. It just was too much of a bare spot on the bottom here. I just looked like it just needed a little something else. So there. Looks like it was always meant to be. All right, now I'm going to get some of this off of here. But that's it for this one. This one's going to be done. It'll look much clearer, much prettier. Once this Mod Podge dries nice and clear. Let's try a little excess Mod Podge off of here. All right. There we go. But I think that's going to look really nice. But right now it's kind of dull looking because, you know, it's wet. But once that Mod Podge dries, it's going to look beautiful. All right, so that's going to be the little trinket tray. We're also going to outline the edge of that with my pink. I have this sitting upside down, so I have very little of it left. This is that prominent pink that I absolutely love and can never find. So we're just going to keep that sitting there so that what is left comes down. All right, now for this one's going to be a little trickier. I'm going to use these really big pieces. The bigger the piece, the harder this is for me to get. Oh, I didn't take the back off of this one. There we go. Now we're down to one layer on there. Did I take it off of this one? Yes, I did. Okay. I don't know if I'm going to be able to use two. I'm not quite sure how this is all going to line up. But I'm going to put this little rosebud up here towards the top, I think. Or maybe that's not the one I wanted. Well, it has to be, because it has to go this way. It has to. But we'll just cut off, you know, what we don't need here. This will just tuck underneath. I think it should go under there nicely, but let's hope. And then here, I'm just going to trim this off before I even get started here, because The rest of it I can just kind of sand off if there's any more there. But I think that's a good spot right there. That's going to be really pretty. Look at that. Love this napkin. All right, now let's hope we can get this on here without a bunch of bubbles or creases or whatever. I don't mind a few, but I don't want a whole bunch of creases in my stuff. But sometimes you end up with them no matter how hard you try. All right, let's try to get this side on here all the way down, and then we can kind of work our way across. But you can pretty much make anything beautiful with a little decoupage. I've done so many different projects. I'm like addicted to doing decoupage. Really am. All right, let's see if we can get this to go right around here nicely. Kind of going to work from the middle on this one, I think, because if I work from the top down, I'm going to really end up wrinkling this up. So let's see what happens if we just go from side to side here. And these I got to kind of pull down. All right, and then that's going to get tucked right underneath. Oh, this is going on much easier than I thought. I'm very happy. Like I said, I love working with the little pieces. They go on so flawlessly and easy. And it may bubble up a little bit, you know, while it's drying, but most of the time it'll lay down pretty flat. All right, I think we're just about done. You want to make sure you have plenty of Mod Podge so you don't rip your napkin when you're tugging it here. But I think that's good. Oh yeah, all right. Make sure I got all my edges. All right, well, we're just gonna let this dry now. And then I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. So when I get that all on here and these things dry, we'll come back and finish these up. All right, everything's dry. I'm so excited. These came out so pretty. This one, I'm just going to leave the way it is, just simple. I'm just going to give this a coat of my satin clear spray paint that I have here. I'll show you in a second. But look how pretty that is. I love this. So cute. Now these, I added a couple little extra pieces here to fill in because it was kind of like a bare spot. So I just cut out another rose and just decoupage that right on there. But look how pretty that is. And here is our little trinket dish. I think these are adorable. Now these I want to put on a little bit of this prominent pink. It's the Folk Art chalk paint. Love this color. So I'm going to use one of these little bitty sponge brushes. I'm just going to dip it and get some of this paint on here. Get down in that brush. I'm going to tap it off because I don't want a lot of it. And then we are just going to like tap this right around the edge. Just like so. Very carefully. Very light touch too. Kind of like barely touching this. This is such a pretty color. I love this pink. And then if you see a spot you need to go back over again when you're done, you can do that. Just trying to get this little indent here for the heart down a little bit farther. Here we go. And I think that's good right there. Doesn't have to be perfect, but close enough. And there we go. There is our little rose, little trinket dish. Now I got paint on my hands, so I'm going to get it on here. Now on this one, I'm just going to go around the rim of this real quick. Real easy peasy. Now these I just kind of go straight down. That way it goes a little bit on the inside, a little bit on the outside. So simple. And I think that'll do. And there you go. We have a little pink finish there on the top. Just kind of finishes this off a little bit better, I think, with the pretty flowers. Just trying to get a little bit where I missed. But that's it. There you go. All done. And I absolutely love these. So now the only thing I need to do is I'm actually going to scrape this little tiny bit of paint right back in that jar because I am almost out of that color. Last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take these outside. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this right now. It doesn't look as breezy out as it was before. But I'm just going to give this a couple of very light coats. Though the trick to this, to get it to be, you know, really nice without any bubbles, runs, lifting anything off, anything, is just to take your spray paint, hold it about 12 inches away, and just literally just kind of go like this back and forth real quick all the way around. Just a very light coat. Let that dry really, really good. And then when you go in on your second coat, you know, it'll just be perfect. So this is what I'm using. It's the Rust-Oleum 2x Ultra Cover Satin Clear is what this is called. I love this stuff. It seals, protects, revitalizes, all kinds of stuff. It's a satin, so it's not super shiny. You could use a gloss if you want it to have more of a, you know, really glass look, but I think this is going to be perfect. So I'm going to go outside and try and do that. Hopefully this breeze has settled down out there. And then I will put some pictures at the end on how they turned out. But thanks so much for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed these little projects, and I will see you guys all next time. Have a great day, everyone.